New data from Equifax Canada suggests a significant shift in credit usage among businesses in the first quarter of this year. The agency says that the latest numbers highlight growing financial stress in the industrial and financial trades, and they cast doubt on the stability of the Canadian economy. Equifax says businesses' total outstanding balance on bank-issued installment loans declined by 2.4% from the first quarter of last year. However, credit card balances grew by 15%, and lines of credit increased by 11%. The first quarter also saw a slowdown in new business openings, which Equifax says is a concerning trend. Joining us now to discuss this report is Mr. Jeff Brown, Head of Commercial Solutions at Equifax Canada. Mr. Brown, welcome to Forum Daily.
Thank you for having me.
So some concerning numbers in this latest report. What would you say are the biggest takeaways from this Equifax report here?
Yeah, the biggest takeaways is definitely around the credit card usage. What we saw during the pandemic is all the interest-free government-backed loans that came into the market were really used to pay off credit cards, which is great. It helps small businesses kind of sustain and keep alive. And the big thing with that, it wasn't a bailout. Small businesses seem to understand that, but really what we're starting to see now is credit cards really increase to the tune of 15%. With that, what it really means is that small businesses are trying to use this to keep their business moving. And they're almost hoping that interest rates are going to come back down. So they're refraining from really taking on larger debts, these large debts that essentially kind of keep them moving, to help them set up franchises, buy larger pieces of equipment. And really, so there's a tempered expectation with small businesses moving forward. Less optimism, more kind of holding out to see what's going to happen.
Definitely have to see what's going to happen. Now, this report says that the shift to credit card usage indicates potential challenges for businesses. Can you tell us a little bit more about these challenges and what they could look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing when we look at credit card usage, it's fine if you're using your credit card to pay it off in full. And that's what a credit card is there for, to kind of keep you moving along. But the second that you start to accumulate debt on it, you revolve that debt moving forward, the interest rates on it can get out of hand very, very fast. And as we're coming out of, again, this pandemic and these CEBA loans that end up happening, the Canadian Emergency Business Account, these loans are also coming due here at the end of the year. So you start to accumulate 5% interest rates. So if you have that and you have a revolving credit on your credit card, it could spell kind of a slippery slope for small businesses, and really a challenge moving forward.
And it's interesting that this report highlights stresses in the industrial and financial trades in particular. So what really stands out in those sectors in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. So during the pandemic, like I said, all this $49 billion worth of loans hit small businesses. And if you looked at anybody's credit score, it boosted them up. It kept them going. When we look at those industries now, the delinquency rates are really starting to rise. We saw about 5% increase in delinquency rates here over the past quarter. And so we're almost at pre-pandemic levels. One of the things we're really watching out for now is the acceleration of that. So it's okay that we're getting back up to that level, but at the rate we're moving, it could really surpass what we saw pre-pandemic. So really what this means is that organizations like collection agencies, when they see accounts going bad, they're going to be collecting a lot faster. So your rate at being able to recover, your window to be able to recover is going to be very, very small. So there's going to be a lot of suppliers, a lot of lenders really watching the performance of their portfolios here moving forward. And as a small business, you really have to understand what that means, because there's not a lot of wiggle room in our current economy right now.
And what are some of the broader impacts to the Canadian economy to consider when it comes to these results?
Yeah. So when you think about suppliers, so if you have small businesses that are not purchasing these big products, you have large suppliers who invoice tens, if not hundreds of thousands of small businesses. If they're seeing less volume, their reaction to it is going to be to increase their prices. So if they have less volume, they're going to be essentially keeping their prices up. So really what we're seeing inflation on the consumer side is going to be passed across to small businesses as well. So this reluctancy we see on small business loans and holding on credit cards, the longer this goes on, the more challenges we're going to have on prices for end products. So carrying debt, increased prices to small businesses, it's going to be a challenge. Thankfully, there is some optimism around it as well.
Challenge indeed, sir. Just about 30 seconds left here. But what is Equifax calling on officials to do to really address this, support businesses in Canada, and take care of the Canadian economy?
Yeah, so one thing is really with those CBIL loans. So those payment periods do come up here at the end of the year. Not necessarily to extend those out; they've been extended a few times, but just be very quick to react if we see small businesses struggling. Only 13% of businesses have really paid back those loans to date. If we don't see those numbers improve, the federal government is going to have to step in to help provide some assistance or some relief moving forward.
Lots of work to be done. All right, Mr. Brown, thank you again for joining us on Forum Daily.